This is Tom Lucier and Inside Cardiology. And today we talk about a very central stage topic, artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is about neuronal networks. And basically our brain, as you see in this picture, is a neuronal network as well. In fact, when we look at it, we are a miraculous network of around 80 billion neurons linked through 100 trillion synapses or connections. So basically, the computer starts to mimic ourselves, our brain, which is, of course, the crown of evolution. And indeed, when we moved from cells to microbes, to worms, to amphibia, to mammals, and of course primates, and eventually Homo sapiens, the neural system developed immensely. In worms, there is just a little bit of a neuronal column with some more neurons at the top, while we developed a huge brain with all these neurons mentioned earlier. So a fantastic evolution, and this brain has actually developed many things. We started with the Roman Empire, but then there was a dip in the Middle Ages. But after that, we discovered the whole world with ships. We, in fact, developed printing, which was a major step in mankind. And then, of course, the steam engine, by James Watt. Then Faraday developed the electromagnetism that allowed for light, for power, for telephones, you name it. Then we started to fly, and eventually we even corrected Newton's worldview by Alfred Einstein, and then of course all the modern aspects of physics. So basically, with this development, the importance of manual work, which was central in the Roman Empire and in ancient time, decreased in importance. It no longer mattered whether you're strong or not. It mainly mattered whether you were smart or not. And indeed, this then, of course, led to the development of medicine, starting with the discovery of bacteria. Then Röntgen discovered the imaging for us to look at the body and sight. Then we noticed that blood pressure is important. Eventually the ECG to look at the heart. Then penicillin to treat the infections, which were the major problem for mankind over centuries and thousands of years. We discovered viruses and vaccination, defibrillators, so we could survive our own death. And then, of course, we could even treat myocardial infarction and survive it. And now we're up in genetics with huge amounts of information for medicine that we have to really handle. So in terms of communication, we started with the alphabet, then of course with printing, as I mentioned, the telephone, then computers, then the internet, but now we have artificial intelligence. And this, in fact, changes the whole world, but medicine in particular, and cardiology lends itself particularly well to AI because it has a lot of imaging, and features are something that the computer can analyze very nicely. So now it no longer matters to be strong or weak, but maybe in the very future it doesn't matter as much whether you're smart or not so smart, because AI truly takes part in our thinking, in our world, and is our little helper. So how good are our AI algorithms compared to a physician? This is a depressing study, the use of GPT-4 to diagnose complex clinical scenarios. And here is the Gauss distribution of the performance of doctors. Some doctors are good, some doctors are less good, some are fantastic. And here is what you achieve with guessing. You know, you're in a multiple choice exam and you don't know what the hell you should say, you guess. That's where you are. And then the blue distribution are the doctors, and here is the algorithm. It is depressing how good it actually is. We looked at this at King's College with Kevin O'Brien, and with natural language processing, looked through all reports, and then we're looking for patients that had a BMP and an echo to confirm a diagnosis of heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. And we looked how good are actually the consultants in doing so. And it was, again, quite depressing. Only maybe about 9%, let's say 10%, 1 in 10 physicians made the diagnosis. Not very impressive. So basically in the future, we will have the electronic healthcare system, and we'll have a co-pilot. The co-pilot will pop up when you have these results and says, this, dear colleague, this is your co-pilot. Do you consider heart failure with preserved ejection fraction? We would recommend a sodium glucose transport inhibitor. And we say, damned, I missed it, but thanks to the co-pilot, I'm a good doctor. In fact, when the patient waits for you, and waiting for a doctor is a problem for patients, you sit in the waiting room and you talk to this new algorithm by Google. The Articulate Medical Intelligent Explorer talks to the patient, asks him, how are you today, any symptoms, and so forth. And they randomize this to 22 GPs. And as you can see in red, the AMI was actually better than the physician in getting the most probable diagnosis. And eventually in Taiwan, they did an AI-enabled electrocardiogram alert intervention in patients that presented with acute chest pain. And what they found is that when in the middle, in panel B, if you focus on that, the algorithm said this is a high-risk patient, compared to those with usual care group, there was a marked reduction in mortality with a hazard ratio of 0.69. So really very impressive. So what is the future of the physician in the age of AI? I would say the radiologists, they're under pressure. There will be use for a few, but certainly not as many as today. Similarly, our imagers in cardiology will be substituted, at least in large parts, by algorithms and robots scanning the patient. Now, interventionalists, where manual skills are required, they will survive for quite a while because roboting is not there yet. And also electrophysiologists, where you have to steer eventually the catheter in the left atrium and in the pulmonary, around the pulmonary veins. So that we're still better at. And what about the GP? So what the patient really wants, the patient wants a physician talking to him. He doesn't want to talk to a robot. He wants empathy. He wants time to talk about his condition. He wants a physician that's literate of AI, that uses AI, uses it as a co-pilot, but eventually reaches the decision based on his own judgment. And of course, those with manual skills will survive. So in summary, the artificial intelligence and machine learning will change everything in medicine, I would predict. It will help us to be faster, more precise, to be remembered if we forget something. So overall, we're much more perfect for our patients, provided we take then the time that is freed by this new technology to talk to him, to show empathy, understanding, and satisfying our patients eventually. That's it for today. Thank you very much.